1. There we go. We are live. 2022 19th Fairway season-long picks. Here we go, a preview show for the Sentry Tournament of Champions in Kapalua, Hawaii. Do you know which island it is on?
This is on the west coast of Maui, a former pineapple plantation, as we've just been told. It was opened in 1991, Core and Crenshaw design. It's a unique par 73. You don't see those too often on the PGA Tour. It is well over 7,500 yards. And a tidbit about the last two holes are some of the longer holes on the property. You've probably seen clips of 18. Guys like to even go driver off the deck on their second shot to try to get to that par 5. Ways downhill. Both of them play long and downhill, and always a fun one at the end of the day on Sunday with coming down to the wire and some guys really trying to get on that green in two.
It always seems to come down to, I know last year, Harris English and was it last year where it came down there, or was it the year before when JT and Xander, I think, were battling it out, and
JT and Reed had a battle in 2020.
Yeah.
And then Xander won it in 2019. Last year, it might have been Harris and Xander last year battling, but it is always fun at the end on Sunday. We'll be looking forward to it again this year.
Yeah, no question about that. And so for the listeners out there, what game are we playing? We're playing, we're picking 3 players per tournament for the whole season. This is obviously the first tournament of the season. So should we run through, who we have on?
Yeah, a little bit about the game for those that didn't catch it last year. It's always shared in our Instagram story to be able to keep up with it daily, hopefully. Something we did last year was 3 picks each for lighter fields. Like WGCs, they have 50 players, but we kind of determine week by week if it should be 3 players or 4 players based on the strength of the field. And then for the majors, we'll sometimes go with 5 players just to make it really interesting. But yeah, we'll determine 3 to 4 players just based on the strength of the field. And the lowest cumulative score wins at the end of the week. And after cuts, that player's score is eliminated, so it doesn't count towards or against your final score. And that can help or hurt. So we've seen it go both ways where, someone's score being eliminated means that their 2 or 3 other players really have a good weekend and they can forget about that 4th player. Or, they end up with only 1 or 2 players left in the field for that week and they just have no chance.
And you finish dead last when that happens, unfortunately.
A lot of times, unless you pick the winner, and if you have that one golden goose that ends up winning the tournament, you never know what can happen.
Yes. And I think we put some stipulations on coming in last place between the midway point, early January for us, when we're gonna all get together, and then later in the season, October. So I think we don't know what those are, but the loser who is in last place at the beginning of January timeframe is going to have a punishment for picking sorry players.
We're beginning of January now, so we're getting started, but beginning of July.
July.
We'll be all in
when I'm getting married. I should know that.
I'm positive that Joe knows when his wedding date is. We'll all be together in Seattle for that, and then hopefully all together again later in the year, and be able to do a couple of punishments that we'll get on film for anyone who's out there listening and watching. Yes. But we've got a couple things to figure out there still. We wanted to get the season started the right way. We have the Sentry Tournament of Champions, all champions in the field. I learned recently that last year there was a few additions, might have been a COVID stipulation there.
Yes, but, as Big Randy would say, scummy.
Yes. That's right. I just always do get excited about this tournament. I mean, it's a collection of winners. These players all played well last year, at least for 1 week, and that they all have the capability to put on a show and win at any given time. So excited to see what happens this week. And I'd be remiss not to mention someone who won enough times to not have to come every year, Tiger Woods, an epic battle with Ernie Els. We saw that go into a playoff, and as I was mentioning earlier, that 18th hole really came into play there. So Tiger, we're happy to see you back at the PNC. We hope to get you back at some point this year.
Yes.
But one of the epic playoff battles at Kapalua, Tiger and Ernie Els.
100%. And I thought you were going to go in the direction of a player who's won enough and has enough respect. DJ, not making the flight, across the pond to paradise.
He's got it pretty good down there in Jupiter, but
yes.
yeah, no trip to Hawaii this year for DJ. I'd be shocked if he shows up for the Sony next week, but no, that is the surprise. He's been out there almost yearly for as long as we can remember. 2-time winner in the last decade, so a shock for him. Another 2-time winner is Justin Thomas, paired in the first round with his longtime friend Jordan Spieth, who also won here. I believe Spieth won in 2016 and Thomas won in 2017 and then won again in 2020. So that'll be a fun pairing. We did just get the tee sheet out, so some good pairings, and excited for that opening round in a couple of days here to get going.
Yes, I totally agree. Should we bring the viewers in and let them see our picks?
Yeah, I think there was one other mention of before we show our picks, I have to say I have an asterisk on my second pick. This could be a big cause for trouble, but I'm being optimistic and hopeful that a little bit of extra R&R on the beach is going to be good for this player. He unfortunately is still without his clubs. Shout out Delta Airlines, keeping his clubs in Seattle. So here we go.
Gosh.
Our picks for the 2022 Sentry TOC at Kapalua. There we go. The Callaway product launch.
There we go. And I should, let everybody know that Garrett is G and Willie is his real name is Scott. He only goes by Willie though. And D obviously is D. They could not make it, but they have provided us their picks and here they are. So
G starting us off, a big Titleist fan, even though he's got the PXG driver and he's wedges. A Titleist. Yeah, he's a Titleist foot joy through.
The signature Titleist, clubs are the wedges, and G rocks the PXGs. But so he has said that he's going back to them immediately when he can.
Yeah, and those SM9s just came out and they're looking crispy. So we'll see how long it takes him to get those. But starting off with Justin Thomas, JT, that's his boy. It's not often that he's not picking JT in the first round if he's available.
100%. He's a stick.
Next up, we had Joe.
Yes.
I'll let him introduce his pick.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going with world number one, the Spaniard, John Rahm. The guy bombs it. He's obviously playing really well. He's my first pick. He was second off the board after JT.
That's an easy one. I mean, depending on who's picking first, Rahm should go first.
Yes, that's your, heart and soul, as you said in the group chat. And I unfortunately had to take that from you.
If I can't end up with Spieth or Rahm with my first pick, I'm a little bit lost, but I think Willie made a bright choice to take Spieth at 3. I think his 2022 season is just going to build off of what he did throughout the year last year. He missed one cut, and that was in January. So he obviously got better and better as the year went on with a strong solo second at the last major of the year over in England.
Yes.
And with that, perfect segue into my pick, the guy who won the Open, Collin Morikawa, one of the best iron players in the world. I know this course is a lot more about, driver wedge than it is iron play, but being the fourth pick, I had to go with one of the most solid players out there, Morikawa.
And one of the guys who, impacts the game. Pete, what was it? Player impact?
Yeah, the player impact program. He finished fourth in that.
Yeah, he got snubbed at a couple $1 million.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he didn't make the cut, huh? But yeah, I mean,
or he got like third, and like it was like 10 million to Phil, like 6 million to Tiger, and then like nothing for Morikawa.
Not compared to those guys. It's amazing to see. I mean, Tiger didn't even play in a tournament until December of 2021 and came in top 2 with Phil winning the PGA Championship, of course. You know, he's got the Wanamaker Trophy, so he deserves that PIP bonus.
Absolutely.
But on to round 2, a guy who's won 4 majors. He's well capable of winning any week. I think he showed signs of coming back. He did win the Waste Management last year.
Yes.
Brooks Kepka, a great pick out of G for the second round. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, the guy can play, obviously. That's a great pick. I do have to, throw a little shade on G once again. I like the pick. It's a heady move. That guy's going to pick, finish, top 10s every single day. But G was hating on his Strixon, so I think his words were, Hovland is better off than without the clubs than Brooks is with his Strixon clubs warming up. That's how little G is a fan of the Strixon signing of Brooks.
I wouldn't mind that. Obviously, Brooks is probably the biggest name player to sign with Strixon. I have a little bit of past experience with Strixon balls, but they were a sponsor for the NCCGA back in my college club golf playing days. They gave us some balls at our tournaments, so that was always fun to just have a little something there. But not too much shade on Strixon. So hopefully it works out for Brooks and them.
Yeah, and I think when you're at that level too, they dial the clubs into your exact specs, and a club is a club at that point. I don't think it's going to be too much of a difference, and clearly it's not.
100%. And after Brooks, the next pick, so fittingly,
I'm going with the king of the disco stick, Mr. Bryson De Chambeau. And I mean, if he drives it well and he bombs it, it's 7,500 yards. He's going to be having driver, short iron in. And if the guy can putt it like he can, I really like his chances here. He just needs to, stay in between his head, focus on his putting. And like I said, if the driver's there, he's a guaranteed top 10, top 5.
Bryson is truly one of those guys that can win any given week. I mean, he's got all the makings for it. And I love that you pick him. I think he should be a perennial pick for you just because you're both Dallas guys.
Hey, I'm living in Dallas. Bryson, when you're watching this, dude, give me a ring. We'll go down. You'll teach me how to get more distance on my driver because I need it.
I think we could all benefit from a little Bryson speed training. No Willie doubt. With a sensible pick here. I heard a note that I think Jordan Spieth in his interview with the Golf Channel earlier this week, he mentioned how there's a lot of similarities between Kapalua and Augusta, which I would never, think that myself being Georgia and Maui, but hey, the wind is up. There's a lot of undulation on the fairways and greens. You get some big sloping putts. This guy won the Masters last year, Hideki Matsuyama. So why not, Willie? Good second round pick.
Why not? I like it. Heady pick right there by him.
And then Hovland. This is the true wild card of our 12 picks here. We just don't know. I feel like I've got a pretty young squad here, but Hovland, he can go off and win a tournament. He can get real close if he doesn't win. So I figured, maybe he's had enough rest, a little bit of extra time on the beach this week. And all fairness, I had no idea that he didn't have his clubs when I made the pick, but we'll see what happens. I'm sticking with it. Victor Hovland is my round 2 pick. And in our final round.
Yes. G is going with the controversial Patrick Reed. I like this pick by G. G usually, picks, 2 players that, he really thinks is going to win. And then he picks somebody that he likes. I don't see this, this year. I think, with, the TBD punishment that we're going to implement, I think G is taking it a little bit more seriously. And I think he thinks, Patrick has a real chance, and he does. He doesn't hit it the farthest, but he's fairways and greens. And if he hits a putter hot, he's finished, top 5 the year before, I think, T2
he was in that playoff with Justin Thomas in 2020.
Yeah,
he came real close, and he's a short game wizard.
Yeah, he's also one of those guys who, if he's on, just like most guys on tour, if they're on, they can win any given week.
it's always exciting when we do our 3 picks each, because really any of these 12 guys can win. And so we'll see who comes out on top. Cam Smith, Joe, walk me through this pick.
Yes, this pick had a lot to do with Home Course, that new YouTube series. I think Cam Smith is just one of the boys. And granted, he had a great, season last season. But I picked this. I did a little bit of a Garrett play here. I don't know how much success he's had, at the Tournament of Champions. I do know that he won Sony. What was it, last year? He won Sony?
Yeah, no, last year was Kevin Na, so I believe it was 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has some success on the island. He is from an island, and he's from Australia. So maybe he feels comfortable in that setting. But I just like him. I think he's a super cool dude, and clearly the guy has game, and I think he's gonna put it all together.
Cam Smith, he's around our age. A brief fun fact: his longtime girlfriend is from our hometown. We got to talk with her a little bit at Pebble Beach for the 2019 US Open. And we know her brother as well. So that's a fun one to pick. We always love rooting for Cam Smith here. And Willie, just a very solid pick.
Yes.
out of his third round with Big Tony Finau. The guy finally got it done and won the Northern Trust. That was a big win to capture for him. I know he had the Puerto Rico Open curse hanging over his head for a few years, but he got it done. The Northern Trust, the playoff event, before Cantlay went on to win those final 2. But Big Tony, that's just a great pick. I think he went on a stretch of top 10s where it was like every single week last year. So look for him to do that again.
He just seems to always be in second place.
He's gonna cross that finish line a few more times. Look forward to a couple this year. I wouldn't be surprised if, again, shout out Noah laying up with their DraftKings bets. But if Big Tony is the person that comes out with the most wins in 2022, it just seems destiny.
Man, what a 180 that would be from all the previous seasons to come out on top having major wins like that. That would be awesome. And indeed, what do you think about Mr. Schauffele?
I think you just said it. Major wins. That's the key for Xander this year. I think he's going to get one. I don't know if it's going to be at Augusta, but he was awfully close.
Knocking on the door.
Yeah, I won the Masters tournament in this game last year because Xander unfortunately choked on 16 and Joe lost 2 strokes and I beat him by 1. That was an incredible bad beat. That tournament should have definitely been Joe's. And I'll call it what it is. It was a bad beat, but I'm sticking with Xander. I like this young group. Xander riding the high of the Ryder Cup, the gold medal last year. Look for him to get his major in 2022. And that's why I'm starting the year with him. I'm excited for the year that Xander Schauffele is going to have.
Yes, I think Xander, with the year that he's coming off of, I think he sort of has put himself into, an expectation sort of season now. Like he expects to, rattle off three, wins and a major championship. I think, you give him 3 wins in a major championship. That's probably, satisfactory for him.
I think I heard on the Golf Channel, he's played in 18 majors now and 9 top 10 finishes. It's going to happen. Mark it down. Xander Schauffele will win a major in 2022.
Oh, I like that. Hey, he's a Southern California kid. We're California kids ourselves. So
we're rooting for you, Xander.
No doubt about that. Okay. So that'll wrap up our picks. Any like final thoughts, D? You mean?
Yeah, just to wrap up, we gave you the picks for the Sentry Tournament of Champions. Look for any of these 12 names to get hot this week and be there in the winner's circle on Sunday. Just to reiterate a little bit about the game. Again, we're going to decide if it's 3 or 4 picks per week and probably be going with 5 during the majors. And we'll have a punishment to be determined at the midway point coming early July from Seattle. And then later in the year after the President's Cup from Quail Hollow, we'll be down in the what do they call it? The lowland down there in South Carolina.
Yes. I'm not sure what they call it, but
we'll be down there. the lowland, South
Yeah.
Carolina, sometime around October. So look for those, follow along weekly, and hopefully Joe and I will be able to jump in and do recaps earlier in the week and then get this video out before Thursday morning tee times. So stay
Yes.
tuned. We look forward to doing this weekly.
All right, guys.